गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विष्णुभानुसुत देवे प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we will be discussing the last verse of the 17th chapter today. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, are you all able to see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so let's recite this verse. You can repeat after me. Ashraddhaya hutam dattam
Ashraddhaya hutam dattam
tapastaptam kritam chayat
tapastaptam kritam chayat
asaditi uchyate partha
asaditi uchyate partha
na chatat pretya no iha.
nachatat pretyato nohita.
Ashraddhaya hutam dattam
Ashraddhaya hutam dattam
tapastaptam kritam chayat
tapastaptam kritam chayat
asaditi uchyate partha
asaditi uchyate partha
na chatat pretya no iha.
nachatat pretyato nohita.
Ashraddhaya hutam dattam
Ashraddhaya hutam dattam
tapastaptam kritam chayat
tapastaptam kritam chayat
asaditi uchyate partha
asaditi uchyate partha
na chatat pretya no iha.
nachatat pretyano iha.
Anyone else would like to recite?
Ashraddhaya hutam dattam
Ashraddhaya
Ashraddhaya
dattam
tapastaptam kritam chayat
tapastaptam kritam chayat
asad iti uchyate partha
asaditi uchyate partha
nachatat pretyano iha.
nachatat pretya no iha.
Ashraddhaya hutam dattam
Ashraddhaya hutam dattam
tapastaptam kritam chayat
tapastaptam kritam
kritam
chayat
chayat
asad ityuchyate partha
asaditi uchyate partha
partha
nachatat pretyano ya
nachatat pretya no iha.
Ashraddhaya hutam dattam
Ashraddhaya hutam
dattam
tapastaptam kritam chayat
tapastaptam kritam chayat
you said iti uchate partha
asaditi
asad
uchyate
ityuchyate partha
na cha tat pretyano iha.
nachatat pretya no iha.
iha.
Anyone else?
Ashraddhaya hutam dattam
Ashraddhaya hutam dattam
dattam
tapastaptam kritam chayat
tapastaptam kritam chayat
ashad iti uchayate partha
asaditi uchyate partha
nachatat pritaya na iha.
nachatat pretya no iha. Okay, let's recite the synonyms. Ashraddhaya,
Ashraddhaya
without faith.
without faith.
Hutam,
hutam
offered in sacrifice.
offered in sacrifice.
Dattam,
Dattam
given,
given,
tapaha,
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 penance,
penance,
taptam,
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 executed,
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 kritam,
kritam,
performed,
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 cha,
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 also,
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 yat,
yat,
yet,
that which,
that which,
asat,
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 false,
false,
iti,
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 thus,
thus,
uchyate,
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 is said to be,
is said to be,
partha,
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 O son of Pritha,
O son of
osana
Pritha,
pritha,
na,
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 never,
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 cha,
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 also,
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 tat,
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 that,
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 pretya,
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 after death,
after
after
death,
death,
nau,
nahu,
nor,
nor,
no,
iha,
iha,
in this life.
in
in
this
this
life.
life.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Anything done as sacrifice, charity or penance without faith in the Supreme, O son of Pritha, is impermanent. It is called asat and is useless both in this life and the next. Purport. Anything done without the transcendental objective, whether it be sacrifice, charity or penance, is useless. A very important statement. We'll come back to this. Therefore, in this verse, it is declared that such activities are abominable. Everything should be done for the Supreme in Krishna consciousness. Without such faith and without the proper guidance, there can never be any fruit. In all the Vedic scriptures, faith in the Supreme is advised. In the pursuit of all Vedic instructions, the ultimate goal is the understanding of Krishna. No one can obtain success without following this principle. Therefore, the best course is to work from the very beginning in Krishna consciousness under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. That is the way to make everything successful. In the conditional state, people are attracted to worshipping demigods, ghosts, or yakshas like Kuvera. The mode of goodness is better than the modes of passion and ignorance. But one who takes directly to Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all three modes of material nature. Although there is a process of gradual elevation, if one, by the association of pure devotees, takes directly to Krishna consciousness, that is the best way. And that is recommended in this chapter. To achieve success in this way, one must first find the proper spiritual master and receive training under his direction. Then one can achieve faith in the Supreme. When that faith matures in course of time, it is called love of God. This love is the ultimate goal of the living entities. One should therefore take to Krishna consciousness directly. That is the message of this 17th chapter. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे. So read the translation one more time. Anything done as sacrifice, charity or penance without faith in the Supreme, O son of Pritha, is impermanent. It is called asat and is useless, both in this life and the next. So right in the beginning of his purport, Prabhupada makes a very important statement. He says anything done without the transcendental objective, whether it be sacrifice, charity or penance, is useless. Now, there is a direct verse about this in the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the first canto, second chapter, 8th verse. Dharmahas swanusthitaha pumsam vishwakshena katha suyaha notpadayet yadi ratim shrama eva hi kevalam. The occupational activities a man performs according to his own position are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the personality of Godhead. So it's a very strong verse. Shram eva hi kevalam. It is just a useless, futile effort. Whatever we do, if it does not, invoke the attraction for the Supreme Personality, for Krishna, then it is just a useless effort. And that is what Srila Prabhupada is also saying here. Like anything done without the transcendental objective, whether it be sacrifice, charity or penance, is useless. So the transcendental objective is for, basically it should be offered to Krishna. Now, this is the last verse of the 17th chapter, obviously. And actually this 17th chapter, if you remember, it started with a very significant verse. The 16th chapter ended with Krishna basically glorifying the divine qualities. So basically the divine qualities, Krishna had said that the people who are divine, they have faith in the scriptures. And what else? They have faith and they follow the scriptures, right? So that was the message of the 16th chapter. Now 17th chapter basically started with a question from Arjuna. No, it's a very significant question. Arjuna asks, Ye shastra vidhimutrajya yajante shraddhayanvitaha tesham nishtha tu ka Krishna satvam aho rajastamaha. He says, Krishna, what about those people who no, they don't follow the injunctions of the scriptures. They don't even refer to the scriptures, but they do have faith. They do worship according to their own understanding. So what about them? Now, in response to that, if you see the whole chapter where Krishna had spoken, so Krishna had talked about, so he talks about ahar is food, then yagya is the sacrifices, dana is charity, and tapa is austerity. So he talks about these four things in the different modes. So that is how he basically analyzes in the 17th chapter. And then he kinds of concludes that, gradually a person can spiritualize his consciousness by the practice of recitation of Om Tat Sat. Basically, what it means is offering everything to the supreme transcendence, Om Tat Sat. So that is how in the 17th chapter, this is kind of a gist of the 17th chapter. And here Krishna is basically saying that people who do not have faith, whatever activity they do, it is useless. So the question, if you really understand, the question of Arjuna was, people, they don't follow the scriptures, but they have faith. That is what Arjuna had asked. So the scripture is out of window already. So the scriptures are not there. Now Krishna is saying that people who do not follow scriptures and they do not even have faith, for them it's all useless. Their whole life is useless. There's no anything done as sacrifice, charity, or penance without faith in the supreme ocean of Gita is impermanent. Asat basically, it will not give any lasting results. Now this word ashraddha is a very significant word. This had come earlier. This has come in the 9th chapter in the 3rd verse, where it says ashraddhadanaha purusha dharmasya yasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. So it's in line with what this verse is saying. Ashraddhadanaha purusha. Krishna basically says that people who do not have faith in me, whatever they achieve, they it will not be lasting. So he says dharmasya yasya parantapa aprapyamam nivartante. If they don't attain me, aprapyamam nivartante mrityu samsara vartamani, they will have to come back to this material world. Whatever they attain, it's not going to be permanent. It is going to be temporary. So that is what Krishna had said in 9.3. And actually, this verse is also in line with what Krishna had said in another verse of the 9th chapter. I don't exactly remember the number of the verse, but that is, I believe it is 9.24, where Krishna says, Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhurevacha natu mam abhijananti tatme natas chavanti te. That I am the only enjoyer. I am the bhokta. And the master of all the yagyas, of all the sacrifices. And people who don't understand this, they don't understand in tattvataha, means they don't really understand it in truth, they will fall down. Chavantite, fall down in the sense they will come back to the material world. They will take birth in this material world again. So we can see that whatever is being done without faith in the Supreme, that is not going to be lasting. It's going to give a temporary result. Now, if we analyze this a little bit more, where Krishna says, Ashraddhaya hutam dattam tapastriptam kritam chayat asaditi uchyate partha na chatat pretyo no iha. So Ashraddha basically means a person who doesn't have the knowledge you know, he basically does not approach the supreme because he lacks the knowledge, you know. And then there are those people who are doubtful, you know, they are full of doubts. So the doubts basically, what happens is they may have some knowledge about the absolute, and they may follow some process, but they will be half-hearted because they are not fully convinced, you know, that this process is what is the ultimate process. This is the process that is going to take me beyond the material world. So both these things, ashraddha is basically not having faith, and then people who are doubtful, you know, they are full of doubts, they are very half-hearted. So though both these things are not good for a person who is following a spiritual path. Now that is why Prabhupada says, if you look at the purport again, Prabhupada says that, you know, from the very beginning, the person should basically commit to a spiritual master. You know, so what will happen is, under the training and direction of the spiritual master, the person can actually progress in Krishna consciousness. And another important point Prabhupada says in the purport is, he says, although there is a process of gradual elevation, if one, by the association of pure devotees, takes directly to Krishna consciousness, that is the best way. Now this thing, that Krishna consciousness is the best way, there is a direct verse that will come about this in the 18th chapter, which will be the 56th verse of the 18th chapter. We'll discuss that when we come there. But Prabhupada is making that point very clear, that there is a gradual way. You know, gradual way is that, you know, either we go through the yoga ladder. We first go to karma, then jnana. From jnana, either we go to ashtanga yoga, or we can go to bhakti yoga. So that is the gradual process. And then there is a direct process, which is you directly take to Krishna consciousness. And that direct process can happen through the association of devotees and by surrendering to a spiritual master, by worshipping, by serving the spiritual master. So now this, I'll just stop here and see if there are any questions, comments, or corrections. Any questions?
Basically, it says that if you do anything without faith, it's useless.
Right. That's what it says. So basically now, it's a good question, good comment.
It's a little hard one to swallow.
No, yeah. So let me add something to it. So if you remember in the same chapter, 17th chapter, 3rd verse, if you remember what Krishna had said is, what was that? He said, Shraddha Mayo Yam Purusho. You know, every living, Shraddha Maya means full of faith. Bhakti Maya means full of bhakti. So Shraddha Maya is also full of faith. Now, Shraddha Mayo Yam Purusho means every living entity is made of faith. You know, it's not that we don't have faith in anything. We do have faith. You know, like for example, if many of us today here who are from India, they are living in America, that means we have faith in America, and that is why we are in America, right? So we do have faith in something, you know, and without faith, we actually cannot operate in this world. So when we say that, okay, when you go to India, we have faith in the pilot, that the pilot can fly the airplane and take us to India safely. So we do have faith in that. You know, we have faith. At the very least, every materialist will have faith in sense gratification. You know, that is very safe to say that every materialist will have that faith. But the problem is, if they do not have faith in anything beyond what is available at the sensual level, at the level of the senses, you know, if they consider that whatever is available or accessible by my senses, only in those things I will have faith, and then they don't have faith in any higher authority, then that is a problem. And then that is what Krishna is saying, that, you know, for such people, anything that they attain, that is going to be useless. It's not going to be permanent. So you know, if you see the tone and mood of Bhagavad Gita, you know, what action we are doing is not that important, but with what motivation we are doing that action, that is what is important. You know, sometimes we do certain things more as a ritual. You know, we can just say for example, we can stand in front of the deity and just do the batti like this, ding 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 ding, ding. But inside we are thinking that it's just a stone. We are just doing it as a ritualistic activity. So Krishna says, what does he say in 4.11? He says, as you surrender to me, accordingly I will reciprocate. Accordingly I'll reward you. So if the person is approaching Krishna in that mood that this is just stone, so what is this stone going to give to a person? So that faith is very important. That inner connection with the supreme transcendence is very important. So we do have faith. So it's not that we don't have faith, but we don't have faith in Krishna. We don't have faith. Not that I'm saying, I'm just saying, a person may have faith in something, but he doesn't have faith in anything beyond the sensory perception. Now, if we look at the scriptures, even the demons, they also have faith that there is a higher authority, and if I appease the higher authorities, then I can enjoy in this world. So we have the example of Ravana had appeased Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, and he had actually got so many boons with which he was able to rule on the world. Then we have the example of Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu had actually appeased Lord Brahma. Then if we look at Krishna Leela, then Kamsa actually had appeased Lord Shiva. So these demons do have faith in the higher authority. So, and if you want anything lasting, anything significant, anything meaningful, you have to have faith. That is what this verse is basically talking about. And Krishna is saying that if you're doing any activity without actually any faith, you might be doing austerity, you might be doing charity, you might be doing some penance, but there is no faith inside, then all of that is going to be useless. So we discussed throughout, right, that how people may have faith in different modes. So people may do, we had discussed it, so I'm not going to go back again, but does that make it a little clear, Mataji?
Yeah, I guess having faith in everything else is only going to give us impermanent results in one sense anyway, So in that sense, it's useless.
Right.
Because it's not going to be anything permanent that we can, retain. Yeah.
Any other comments, questions, corrections? Pyare Prabhuji, Mataji, you have anything to add?
Yeah, if you have faith in Krishna for fulfilling your material desires, what happens?
So, yeah, it's a good question.
I like that question.
So actually, Krishna himself says in the 7th chapter, Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sakrutino arjuna artha artharthi jigyasu gyani cha bharata sharva. So he says that 4 type of people approach me, arth and artharthi. So both the arth and arth is basically one who is distressed, and artharthi is basically one who needs something material from Krishna. So they will fall into that category, and Krishna kinds of welcomes them. He says that Janaha Sukriti no Arjuna. Sukriti is a very strong positive word that Krishna uses. And then it is interesting that in the very next verse, Krishna says that, what is that verse where Krishna, in the next verse, Krishna says, Udaraha sarva vedeshu. He says, these people are magnanimous. They are great souls. Udara is actually, it can mean charitable. It can mean magnanimous. It means great soul. Now this kinds of when I first read it, it kinds of baffled me. Why it baffled me is because, say for example, someone comes to your door knocking, I live in Newington, and someone comes to my door, and then he knocks my door, and then he comes to me and then says that, I don't even know that person. And, this person says that, okay, can you please give me $10,000? I really need it. So what am I going to do? So I'm, there's one way, obviously I'm going to just say, show him the door again, get out of my door. But if you look at what Krishna is doing here, he's kind of welcoming that person, garlanding that person. You're such a great person you are. Out of so many different places, you came to my door. You could have gone to so many different houses, but you came asking me for $10,000. So Krishna, in one sense, welcomes. In any way, if someone approaches Krishna, he welcomes it. So what Krishna actually does is, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned two things. Krishna may or may not fulfill the desire, but he definitely purifies our desire, to attain that particular thing. And we have examples from Bhagavatam itself. We have the example of Dhruv Maharaj. So Dhruv Maharaj actually was a artharthi. He had material desires. He actually approached Lord Vishnu to ask for a kingdom bigger than the kingdom of Brahma. So when the Lord Vishnu appeared in front of him, he basically his desires became purified. He said that actually I was asking for broken pieces of glasses, and here is a actual diamond in front of me. I don't want anything else. Regardless, Krishna does give it to him, but he purifies. After that, actually, Dhruv Maharaj didn't want it, but Krishna still gives it to him. So there are other examples similar, like the example of Bali Maharaj is there. Very similar example, but Gary Prabhu, would you like to add something to that?
No, I'm just thinking, so I can worship Krishna with faith to get something material, and then once I don't want it, he'll give it to me.
I mean, so in the Bhagavatam, again, there is a verse which basically, there is a series of verses. I believe this is in the first canto itself, third chapter, if I'm not wrong, which basically tells that if you want this, you can go to this particular demigod. If you want this, if you want to have a beautiful body, you can worship this demigod. If you want good fortune, you can worship goddess Durga. Like that, it gives a series of verses. And then it comes to the conclusion that whether you want nothing or you want everything, akamaha sarva kamaha.
Moksha kama udarati. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, so he says that actually, you should worship Krishna, in whatever way you can. So now again, it is, we may approach Krishna for a particular material thing, but it is good in a way that it is going to purify us. And Krishna also says that later in the 7th chapter, he says, bahunam janmanamante gyanvan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti sumatma sadurlabha samatma sudurlabha. So he says that actually, they may not become purified in this birth, but if they approach me, they may take many births, but at least at some point they will realize that Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Krishna is everything, and then they will surrender to me.
Well, most of the time when I ask Krishna for something material, I don't get it. So, but Pyari himself has answered this question for me, that he said that Krishna only fulfills your material desire if he feels it's good for your spiritual benefit, in a sense.
I didn't say that. I was
No?
asking it as a question. And Krishna fulfilled your material desire when you lost your keys.
That he has occasionally. when I start chanting Hare Krishna, I found my keys. But
so, but what I would like to say again on this is, there is a difference between a devotee and a pure devotee. So devotee could have material, motives, and he might be approaching Krishna for that, but eventually he will become a pure devotee. He will become purified, and then he will not have any motives, any material motives. And then basically, so for us, at least we have to become a devotee. And once we become a devotee, then we can rise up further. We can go, make some further progress and become a pure devotee. But the first step is to become devotee. We should at least have faith in Krishna only, that only Krishna can fulfill my desires, or I should only go to Krishna. So faith in Krishna, and the process is the devotional service. That this is only how I should approach Krishna. So if we have that faith, then that is good.
I would think Krishna, he is so expert that he doesn't necessarily have to wait for you to no longer have the desire. Depending upon what we need for encouragement. He may give us what we want, and then our faith may become stronger in Krishna. And then we may think even, I'm sorry I even asked for that. I shouldn't have asked for that. You know, there's different, he reciprocates according to what's going to help us spiritually. And sometimes it may be giving us some material thing, and not only after we don't want it. Depends on who it is and our faith. But Krishna is going to do what's best for us, not just the material, but make sure we're making some spiritual progress.
Very true, Prabhuji. I agree.
That's precisely what you said, Pyari, that the demigods might give you something, whether it's in your best interest or not, but Krishna only gives it to you if it is in your best interest, in your spiritual best interest.
Right. Your real interest.
Your real interest, yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Prabhu, there is a verse in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. This says, Krishna is saying, Tumi oggo, ami biggo, bishoy keno dibo, shacharana mrito diye, bishoy bhunjaibo. If you know its meaning. So I say, English will be, Tumi oggo, you are ignorant. I am biggo, I am wise. Bishoy keno dibo. Why should I give you materialist thing? Shacharanamrito diye, by giving my own blessing or charanamrito, Bishoya bhunjaibo, I will wipe out your material desire.
Very nice, true. Very nice
verse, yeah. Where is that verse?
Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Mataji.
Oh, I see.
It's a very big book. Can you narrow it down a little?
Exactly.
It's going to be either in Madhalila or Antalila.
Well, that's 3 volumes less than the whole book.
Can you put it in the chat? Then at least we can do the search in database.
I look for it, Mataji.
He gave us 2/3 of the book, right? We can figure out.
Yeah,
but that's a really nice verse.
Yeah, it's very nice too. Okay. Any other questions, comments? Anything else? Anything?
I ask for things and then I tell him, sorry to bother you.
That's nice.
And Krishna says, that's okay.
You say
you're not getting it anyway.
You say sorry to bother you after you get it?
No.
After he asks.
If I get it, if I don't get it, I say sorry to bother you too.